Nicola here from Workbridge, and one of the things that we were really thrilled about over the last 12 months is that we've been working with Lisa to offer Workbridge appointments here on campus. So Lisa had been coming in every fortnight to meet with students and to start thinking about job options or identification of barriers, etc. And the presentation that they're going to do today is going to be relevant to a wider audience as well. So I think we should probably just more or less kick it off. I was just busy saying to Lisa, I thought she came from Australia for so long, and she apparently was born in New Zealand. So then we were discussing where I came from, and I did a great Liverpudlian accent, and I'm now going to stop because I'm veering into rubbish, which is never good. So I'm just going to hand over to Lisa and Nicola. One of the things I would say, Ella, if you want to, I mean, normally we wait to the end to ask questions, but look, if you've got questions, just go for it in the middle. It can be like a little conversation between three people. You don't feel you've got to keep your questions to the end.
Awesome, thank you.
You could use us as your professional gurus on everything to do with careers today. So
sounds perfect.
All right, so I'll stop talking and hand over to Lisa and Nicola.
Hi, thank you for coming and thanks for joining us. So we've got, Ella that's with us today?
Yes, Ella.
Yeah. What are you studying at the moment?
I'm currently I'm still deciding, but right now I'm in my third year of kind of neuroscience and psychology.
Wow, that sounds cool.
I'm very much unsure as to what my path will lead me to, but I had the most amazing year last year in America. I studied over there for a full year, and it was just incredible, and it kind of opened my eyes, and I just want to sort of get out there a little bit more, and I thought I should probably start looking at what happens once I graduate.
Yeah.
Here I am.
Oh, wow, that sounds awesome. So were you all over in the States, or whereabouts were you?
I was very lucky enough to win the scholarship where I got to study at the University of Idaho.
Wow.
It's a specific scholarship that is given to one New Zealand female per year who's in science, and it's called the Rebecca Lynch Scholarship. And this American family sponsors one female to go overseas and study specifically at the University of Idaho in honor of their child who passed away in a car accident.
Wow.
And they've done it. I was the 45th female that they've sent over.
Wow.
So it was just the most incredible thing. And I had
to unmute myself because I'm so excited about what you're talking about. Gosh, you did so well to be recognised in that way. That's really great.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Oh, it was incredible. It was absolutely amazing. I met so many wonderful people. I got to travel a bit of Europe as well throughout that time. So very lucky that I went last year instead of this year. You know, the timing was, pretty lucky in that sense. And so I just, came back and realized that maybe I was doing neuroscience and physiology beforehand. I probably should have pointed out. And then I kind of realized that psychology and being with people was more important to me. So I've slightly veered aside and now doing a lot of psychology papers this year.
Awesome. All right, well, we'll get started. So we're going to talk to you today about what we do at Workbridge, just a little bit of an overview. So there's 5 of us here in the Dunedin office. Sue, Lisa and Steve, who's our newest, look after the employer side of things. My name's Nikki and I look after the enrolments and intakes, and we've also got Mandy, who's our team leader, who looks after us all. So who are we? So we're a specialist employment agency, and we differ from a recruitment agency in that we're working with people that have health conditions, disabilities or injuries, looking for employment for a minimum of 5 hours per week. And also Lisa, who's the other one here with us today, she works with Otago Uni Careers and Disability team as well, and she's based down in at the uni twice a month. So what we offer is a private and confidential service, and we offer all aspects of vocational prepping. So that could be anything from CV development, working with you to develop your interview skills, working with you to develop your job searching, matching you to helping you match to vacancies, interpreting employment agreements, accessing support funds, preparing you for your job, tools to help you share your disability at work confidently, and ongoing support once you're actually in a role. So eligibility criteria. So, you know, it's important to think that this may not apply to you, but it might be, you know, beneficial for somebody that you know. So it's available to New Zealand citizens or permanent residents who are aged between 16 and 64 and that experience a health condition, injury or disability that has lasted for more than 6 months or may last for more than 6 months. So it's quite broad when we talk about health conditions. It could be anything from, you know, experiencing mental health, body dysmorphia, gender dysphoria, autism, learning difficulties. It's really, really broad. It's anything really that may have had or could have an impact on going into work. So there's a number of ways to join our service. You can register online via our website. There's a link there. We have a toll-free number which would connect you to our remote services team. We welcome anyone to pop into the office, which is at 261 Princess Street, just opposite the casino there. And as I mentioned earlier, Lisa is based down at the careers department on scheduled days, so you can book a time to go in and see her there as well. Okay, so what we do is we really work to get to know you. It's a really individualised service. We're really looking at sustainable employment. We want to match our job seekers into positions that they're, you know, that they could do long term. So we look at your experience, skills, the qualifications that you've got and how they're matching to the labour market. We talk about your health condition and any potential impacts that could have on work. We look at anything else that might be a barrier to going into employment, because there's, you know, a lot of other things like childcare, transport, maybe perhaps confidence. We look at when you're available to work, the hours, what shifts, and any support that you might require once you're in work. All right, so I'm going to hand you over to Lisa now and she'll continue with the presentation.
Did that work? Has that worked? Can you hear me? Yes? Jackie's nodding. It's weird. It's gone weird in my, it's gone weird. Mine just changed microphone jacks or something. So hi, Bella, how you going?
Great, thank you. How are you?
Good. Congratulations. That's pretty bloody impressive, I have to say. That's really amazing, and I'm excited that you've dropped across into psychology. That's definitely where I've been aiming. I've did my BA in psychology and criminology. So the psychology thing, anyone says that they're into psychology, I just go, oh, yes, it's awesome. Okay, so my role is working with job seekers. It's a little bit different at the university because I'm providing what we call an end-to-end service. So I'm kind of doing the other stuff that Nikki does here. But for my other job seekers, I predominantly focus on employer facing contact. But for you guys, it's all the way through. So basically, the way that it works is we actually set up what we call a job seeker pathway, and it's a job map plan. And this is like a really important part of the Workbridge setup of the service, etc. Because what we're doing is we're looking at the sorts of things that you're looking for futuristically. So it's like short and long-term employment goals. So you might have, you know, like it might be that you're just looking for, you know, casual work whilst you're studying, but then your long-term employment goal is, you know, what are you wanting to do after you finish studying? I should stop waving my hands around in there. And one of the things that we do with people, so can I just ask you something? Do you actually present with a health condition, injury or disability?
Not physical, but I feel like I haven't, my family does, like elders, and so we have never really got it checked out. So it's more just kind of, I'm here for interest just in case something aligns up, and I thought I'd, rather be more aware than less,
Yeah, that's awesome. And so I just wanted to, because we're going to talk about things like positive disclosure statements and things like that, and it's kind of like, drawing that out if it's not something that you're, going to be, be concerned with in the future. But for people that do can identify with health conditions, injuries or disabilities, and as you heard Nikki say before, it's so broad, we assist with a positive disclosure statement. So effectively that is just finding a way that you can comfortably present what your what your health condition or potential barrier into work is in a positive way for employers. And well, a little bit further I'll talk about the fact that we actually do run we've run our first workshop on positive disclosure, and that's excuse me, that's just sort of broadening up the whole information around positive disclosure about what employers are actually allowed to ask you and what they're not. What sorts of things could present as barriers. So that's where that positive disclosure comes in, and it's always a work in progress. And it's something in some ways it might not be that you actually even have to say anything. So for someone that's got as an example, that's got mental health and it's not going to affect them into in work or anything like that, then you might not want to disclose it or say anything, and there's no requirement for you to do so. The transferable skills, this is always something that's really important as well, because a lot of people say, oh well, I've only been a student, I've not really done anything else, I've never worked before. But the transferable skills are actually there around things that you might have picked up, like for instance, you're studying overseas, there's a whole lot of skills that you would have gained through that experience, and life experience just picks up skills as well. So it's not necessarily that you've been able to use office administration products or done anything like that. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're out just because you haven't specifically done that thing. With the pathway as well, we've got workbooks, and I'll just say that a lot of what we do is what Jackie and her team does as well, and so we work closely together, because there are going to be some things that the university careers department, like assisting with the U-Butte kind of CVs for graduate programs and all that kind of stuff. That's where you identify experts.
Yeah, so hopefully you're quite familiar with what we're offering, and obviously you're so welcome to come and use our services. We've got all our workshops and one-on-one interviews online at the moment, but yeah, I am going to pick your brain just before, once you get to the end of your presentation, I'm going to pick your brain, so I'll just give you this as a thought to keep at the back of it. It'd be really probably quite nice for Ella to hear a little bit about your pathway with your psychology degree and how it became useful at Workbridge, but also the things that you've done before with it. Because at one point you were sitting where Ella is now, so wondering what you're going to do with your life. So that might be something you could also talk about at the end. I know that'll be unscripted, but it'd be nice to hear.
Yeah, that's that whole what do you want to be when you grow up question, Jackie, and I'm still not sure I have an answer for that. We have workbooks that we use as well, and some of those are what we call sort of like soft skill workbooks. There's some around, like confidence and understanding the labour market, helping to identify, what sorts of jobs that you're looking for. I think there's about 11 workbooks actually, and they've just been revamped, so we're still kind of digesting those a little bit. And Nikki as well, assists with updating the CV and how to use it as a fluid document for job applications. So Nikki does that, I do that, and yeah, Jackie's team does that too. She says just directing CVs back to Jackie. Okay, so from in my role, what I tend to do is try and make connections with employers. So our service is a lot about profiling. So it's, once we've gone through that initial process and identified what sorts of things you're really interested in, then that's when we can start, going out there and approaching employers. We had an amazing experience recently with one of your students that has ended up going into ACC. And that's been an amazing experience for her, and she's a huge asset to ACC, and they absolutely love her. But that's kind of like one of the I guess partnership. I don't really like to use that term, but it's one of the partnership employers that we have, and yeah, they're amazing. There's so many opportunities in ACC. You can start here and end up somewhere completely different. And that's something as well, like thinking about your psychology and stuff like that. Is that the sort of thing that, futuristically might be of interest to you, where you can use, use your psychology skills in a completely different way, because they have, like the special victim sorts of teams and things like that. So they're always also looking for, people with qualifications, to take in, rather than just being, within the call centre or something like that. So what we do is we do the profiling. With the job search, we do it in conjunction with you as well. So you might have access to stuff through like the grad program and the expos that you've just got, that you've just been looking at today. It could be that you are, utilising student job search. We make sure that we can profile you to recruitment agencies and things like that as well, because I guess the difference for us is that we're not a recruitment agency, we're a supported employment provider. So we do tend to link in really well with a lot of the recruitment companies, which is awesome. Okay, so probably the last point on there just to mention is that assisting with interview modifications, if your health condition is complicated by a standard interview process. So that's the sort of thing that is really important, that we want to give all of our clients and job seekers the best opportunity to put themselves forward. And sometimes it's about understanding that there might be some modifications. I'll use an example, of someone that perhaps is on the autism spectrum, and for them having an interview face to face with questions that come as a complete surprise can be problematic. So for people with that situation, we will approach the employers, and we'll actually ask if we can get a copy of the a copy of the interview questions up front. So that way it's about, the person not being put on the spot, because ideally, a good interviewer and a good company should not look at it from the perspective of, you're cheating because you're getting the questions in advance. It should be that they want to get the absolute best out of someone that's sitting in front of them, so that they can make an educated decision about whether that person is the right person for the job or not. And I guess this is, that whole supported placement provider that I was talking about. This post-placement support is really important. so when you register with Workbridge, you're registering for basically a 12-month post-placement plus we've 12 months to put you into work, and then we support you for 12 months. Now, hopefully it wouldn't take 12 months to get you into work. But the post-placement support is really important. We found that it used to be, I think it was 3 months that was support that was offered by Workbridge, and then it's kind of like stepped out and gone to 12 months now. And they made that decision with the ministry because they found that working with people for longer was actually helping to keep them in work for longer, and there wasn't so much falling out of work. And I think the employment, employers, companies, organisations, they've changed so much, and it's probably post-COVID it's going to be a little bit different, but there was a lot of expectations on people, and to get up and running really quickly, to take on extra duties, to work seriously long hours, and for a lot of people that can be without even having a health barrier, it can be really problematic. And so part of what we're doing with supporting you is also supporting the employer, and that really helps to maintain conversations so that once people get past that 3-month probation, and obviously that's changed as well as far as legislation, it just helps people to kind of know that they're being supported, and we're asking questions about how they're going, we're talking with the employer about how you're going, and then that feedback's going backwards and forwards. And so if there are any speed bumps that that jump up, you've got us to turn to, and the employer knows that we're there as well, and we can assist with giving you strategies, to working out strategies that will really help you futuristically. So this is the workshop that I just mentioned earlier, which is the disclosing barriers to employers. So if you are interested in having a look at that, Jackie's team we'll send something out about it. We are hoping, we were hoping to do one each semester. Whether or not that's going to happen now, with everything that's gone crazy, it might not. But yeah, it's a good. It is a good.
Might be online for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. True that. We could. Online technology. What on earth? Yeah. So this is just what I was talking about before. So one of the things that I just wanted to touch base on, just because, obviously it's quite fluky, that, mental health is obviously something that's, that you're passionate about as well. And we just wanted to just put some information out there because of the fact that we do support people with mental health, and this is a time when people's mental health can be seriously and significantly affected. So these are just some little tips that we've put together. So looking after yourself is really important, because New Zealand's never going to look the same again, and there's no point pretending that it will. So we kind of have just thought these are some good things that you could be bringing into play whilst you're studying. So spending time in places that feel safe and comfortable, doing that as much as possible. That's really, really important. You don't want to be pushing yourself too hard, and I know that's it's easier said than done, because you're probably heading into exams shortly. There's a lot of everything is still up in the air as far as studying, because are you guys back on campus now?
No, everything will go back on campus in second semester, so everything's still online at the moment. All exams will be online. Very new situation for everybody, indeed.
Oh.
There's a range of staff making their way back gradually, so we're in the office now.
I was going to say, are you sitting outside? Because I don't think it's actually that warm,
yes,
is it?
Day out here. No, I'm not. Background. But there
So
are half of
pretty.
my team are back in the office now, but yeah, the students, you're all
Ah.
still online, aren't you, Ella?
Yeah, all still online, but going well so far. Going well
Yeah,
so far.
that's
Yeah.
good.
Oh, well
That's good.
done. Because yeah, it's such an unusual, way to, to study, and it's hard to, maintain those relationships that you've established with fellow students. Sorry about that motorbike. Fellow students, sitting in a lecture room, and you've got 100 people around you, and then you've got people you can chat to as you're walking out, as you're walking in, all that kind of stuff. So it is really different, unique, weird, all that stuff. So it's really important that you tell yourself that what you're feeling is a completely normal reaction, and it will pass. It's okay. It's kind of like sitting with it and just going, it's okay. I need to not beat myself up about this. If I'm feeling nervy and terse, and I'm feeling stress and all this kind of stuff, it's okay. And it's okay even if you're not. Don't, there's nothing like, oh my God, I'm not feeling like that. Am I, is that wrong? Have I got no empathy or anything because I just don't feel like that? It's all cool. It's really important that you do reach out to your usual supports. So one of the things that we talked about here was, it was a kind of like a really bad choice of phrasing when they said self-isolation. Because it really wasn't. It was about distancing. So it was kind of around that. And isolation is a really bad term because it just we don't want people to be isolated. We want people to be able to interact with people and know via technology and things they can do it, picking up the phone. Yeah, so it's about your family and your whānau and friends and fellow students, and just sharing how you feel, and offering support to others. If someone's struggling, how about I give you a call in a week, and we can chat for 5 minutes or something, just to help someone else out. Keeping to usual routines. Oh, this one's a bit tricky, but meal times, bedtime, exercise. It's going to be really important. You guys are just full-on technology junkies at the moment, and well, we all are. There's no, it's just the way it is. But it's really important that you do try and stick to those routines. Make sure that you are eating regularly, do a little bit of exercise. I mean, that's really good for just freeing up your brain for a bit. And also that that whole activity helps to reduce anxiety and does help to improve mental health. You guys have some incredible online resources at the Otago University, and there's you've got some really amazing programs through USA, various support areas that are there. You've got your mental health teams and stuff like that, so make sure that that you do link into those resources if you need it. If you want to use resources that are outside of Otago University, I've actually put this together. So this is just some contact numbers and things. So there's lots and lots of different phone numbers and websites and that kind of stuff that is available to people with mental illness, or even just feeling stressed at the moment. There's some drug and alcohol support services. We keep reading all this stuff saying that this is not the time for you to be drinking, and it's like, really? Okay. I don't think that's working in my world. And there's also some online tools here, and some apps that you can download onto your phone, and they're really fantastic. This one here is one I've just put on today. It's Mentemia. And this is an app that's been released by John Kerwin, and he has just opened it up free to everybody in New Zealand. So that's one I really, I recommend that you go in and have a look at. And I mean, even for you with what you're studying with psychology, it's good to have a look at some of this stuff yourself anyway, because then you can get a feel for, the different types of support services are there, and that might actually help you futuristically seeing what other organizations do that have psychology attached to them, and it might make you go, oh, actually that's the kind of organization that I'd really like to work for. And you could sort of like take your skills. So the only psychology student on the call, it's pretty awesome for you. So that's a resource sheet that we have. It's normally just a one-page Word flyer. So if you wanted a copy of this presentation, you can email either myself or Nikki, and we either one of us can flick you a copy of it particularly if you wanted that the mental health sheet.
Oh, perfect, thank you. I've been taking photos as it's been going on, so I've got your emails as well, so that is great. One question, so I know you mentioned ACC, what other partnership people are you involved with, like just out of curiosity?
It varies based on whereabouts in the country. So you would have seen that that we're all around the place. So there are different ones. So Adecco is someone that we've got in partnership, Z Energy as well. What are some other ones that are more directly related to?
Kiwi Rail was one, wasn't it? Was Kiwi Rail one of the partners or not?
Yes, Jackie, do we mention that? Yes, Kiwi Rail is, and again, they've got these are all organisations that you never know how psychology could actually fit into that organisation. And one of the things that Nikki's just showing me some more. What's that? Oh, New Zealand Post. Yep. And I think one of the things that that I think will be quite interesting futuristically is that I think, the gut feeling is that organisations are going to be spending a lot more time focusing on health and well-being. And I know in Australia, it's quite a big thing for them to actually get counsellors or psychologists, etc., into the larger organisations that people can actually go and talk to within the organisation. And I personally, don't have a crystal ball or anything, but I think that there's going to be a lot more of that. I think organisations are going to be looking at bringing services like EAP and stuff like that actually inside services, so inside companies. So I think that's something that just to keep an eye out for as well, because there will be good opportunities that come out, and it's awful to say that because it's it's mental health, but by the same token that there is a shortage of people to provide services to people in need.
You probably use your psychology degree most days, Lisa, I'm imagining, because I have to confess, I used to work for Workbridge in Rotorua before I came down here. But just in terms of the conversations that you're having with people, trying to work out, what's behind some of the conversations you're having, whether there are underlying issues that someone's not talking about, or etc. So, and I mean, I came in with French and German degree, so whether I picked up on those always or not, but my assumption is, both yourself and Ellie, you've got that background understanding why people do what they do. So would you say that's the case?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, I mean, originally, Ella, I started off my journey into psychology through joining up with Lifeline in Australia, in Tasmania, and through doing the study for that, and then actually working within Lifeline, it kind of it started kind of like opening up my mind into something that's like counselling has always sort of sat in the background, something that I'd like to do. My vocational history went completely in a different direction, and I ended up in telco for telecommunications for about 20 years. But when I did Lifeline, one of the things that happened, that was probably the defining moment for me, was Lifeline actually opened up their service to the prisoners in Tasmania, in one of the jails there, and it just the experience of that, and seeing where these people have come from, and yep, they've made some really shitty bad decisions, but there's always a story. And it was through that kind of, I just went, oh my God, I really want to do this. So that was why I did my degree in psychology and criminology. My big plan was that I was going to get into forensic psychology. However, I then discovered that you had to do a whole lot of law, and that kind of like blew that out for me, because doing this, I've only just finished my degree 2013, and I actually started it in 2003. And I did my degree through Deakin University, but 100% online. I was a distance student. So I completely get what you're going through at the moment with doing it all online. But I work full time, and then just just did my study on my degree. So it was a long process, but it was a cool process. And so that was the direction that I was heading with it. And I guess doesn't matter what job you kind of do, that if it involves people, the psychology aspect is actually really good. So, in my sales role when I came here, I worked for St. John promoting medical alarms, and I worked as a sales consultant. The understanding of people that you learn through your psychology degree is something that is going to be so transferable, and it's going to be so fantastic for you, because you can get a really good read on people. It's fantastic. And it teaches you some really good skills. For Workbridge, it's been invaluable for me for Workbridge. Possibly sometimes it's to my detriment, because it's very easy to fall into counsellor mode and end up taking way too long with a client, just sort of doing a lot of support kind of stuff rather than focusing on other things. But sometimes you need to do that, and I think we'll all say that. Nikki'd say that as well, that sometimes there is that aspect of counselling that we all do, because it's about listening. We have to listen to our clients to understand them, and empathically, and just going through that information. So my psychology degree has put me into something completely different, but it is invaluable. And like at the moment, it's for our clients, it's really tough. We have we've got a lot of people that are in a really tough situation. They're very afraid and vulnerable at the moment. Work is, for everybody, is just so sketchy now. So people are kind of that they're unsure of their future, and that's definitely coming across with at the post-placement support that that we do with our clients, and following up and checking out how they're going, which we've been doing on a regular basis during this period, and for people that are job seeking as well. So that's the thing that we're really noticing, is that and even people that have never ever had a hint of mental health before, it's just creeping out. Families have been really struggling with having kids at home and all that kind of stuff.
So there's I thought that would be useful for us to hear where you've been and how you use your degree.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily always get that chance to discover that. So what are your thoughts, Ella? You third year, are you coming towards the end, or is it you've got another year to go yet?
Undecided. It all depends on whether or not I want to finish with a double major or just one major. I'm trying to work through it now, but you know, with
I was
everything.
thinking
My
that with your
thoughts have been
change, you've got,
controlled.
yeah. So it could be a minor in psychology, I guess, could it? If you,
Yeah, it could be a bit of both. We're hopefully the answer will come to me by the end of the year, but I'm just sort of trying to track along so far, and then we'll see what happens.
oh, well, if you want to have a chat with one of the career advisors, then make sure you make an appointment, and we'll be happy to talk it over as well as, you know, Workbridge. So, yeah.
Yeah, really
No,
appreciate
talk to those guys. They're amazing. For, you know, they're the best people to talk to about, you know, your degrees and where to go and stuff like that. The team in there is fantastic. I always forget that lady's name, Lindley. Is it
Lindley.
Lindley?
Yeah, Lindley.
Yeah. So I mean, she's you know, degrees and careers and stuff like that. She's very well up on that.
So yeah, so yeah, lots of lovely people in the team. All
Yeah.
got careers qualifications, and there's always someone whose personality will suit the person that meets with them. So sometimes people come and see all of us, and we'll all give slightly different advice about CVs. We try not to confuse, but we
Yeah.
yeah, I often say you take from us what works for you usually. So, but yeah, we'd be absolutely thrilled to see you if you are able to actually eventually see us face to face. But if not, yeah, we've got morning appointments, which are for careers guidance. They're a bit longer, so they're good to book into if you're having some conversations internally about what shall I do? Shall I do a double major? Shall I finish at the end of this year? So yeah, all of those are possible.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to definitely try out some of those apps. I think John Kern's one of my father's favourite rugby players, so I'll even talk to him about it. So thank you for that.
That's all right. Yeah, I hope that you've managed to get some information that was valuable. If you know, if this doesn't, you know, if the service doesn't work for you, we'd love for you to, you know, if you know of anyone else that might benefit from it, we'd love you to, yeah, to share the information and stuff with them. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely will do. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your guys' time.
Oh, well, you're welcome, Ella. Hey, good luck with the rest of rest of the semester, eh?
Oh,
We're thinking of you.
Yeah. Hopefully life goes back to normal soonish. Stay safe through all of this, and yeah, have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, have a good
Awesome.
evening. Bye.
Thank you.
Cheers, Ella. Thanks for your time.
Bye.